Hi everyone, welcome back to Coffee Books and Rain. I'm Rachel, still with my little dragon plush. Depending on which order I post these two videos that have the dragon plush, you either do not know why, and you have to watch the other one now. Haha. But I'm Rachel. I do have my coffee, which I did my best to try and put a cricket cut design on it that I also made in Kittle. So it's not perfect, and I did get a piece of plastic stuck behind the little vinyl, but I'm going to try again and see how it works. I've got a couple others that I mean, you can't see what they are, but they are cut. I just have to clean them up before putting them on transfer paper. Anyway, I'm playing with that sort of thing here lately because I pick up too many hobbies. So, what's another hobby we do? We read, and here's another dragon book for you guys. A lot of different from the other dragon book. The other dragon book, Dragon Along, is definitely YA middle grade. This one is a bit more YA spicy. Definite romantasy, if you get my drift. It's called A Witch and Her Dragon by Emberly, Wyndham. Now, this is expected on June 3rd of 2025, so I don't know what it is about June 3rd being the Day of Dragons, but we'll take it. And it's definitely also the reason why I picked the book up, because it was a witch and her dragon, and I'm like, yes, that sounds great. Give me fantasy, give me a little bit of romance, something cute like that, and we'll go from there. For me, it's quite a bit of romance happening. So I wasn't really expecting that, but okay. His duty is to protect the princess, but his dragon's desire to claim her is becoming impossible to ignore. And she's about to uncover all the fiery secrets he's been hiding. Alina Ravenscroft has a plan. Graduate from the Coven Crest Academy, master her magic, and join the king's powerful coven of witches. The only problem? The king is her grandfather, and he insists she can't attend without a knight by her side, a bodyguard, a babysitter. Raylan Ashford is one of the king's elite knights, and a dragon shifter, though only the king knows the truth. Raylan is assigned as Princess Alina's personal guard. But there's Alina is, okay. I think it should probably be like, there's a catch, comma. Alina is Raylan's fated mate. And for the past 3 years, he's been doing everything he can to ignore the overwhelming pull between them. The searing need to claim her makes her his own. And make her his own. He can't afford to give in to his desire for her, especially when revealing the secret of his dragon could risk everything for Raylan and his family. You know where this is going, right? As Alina and Raylan are forced to spend time together, the growing tension between them becomes impossible to ignore. Raylan has a duty to King, to his family, and to his secret. But when danger draws closer and threats to Alina's safety become all too real, Raylan will have to confront the dangerous truths about his dragon and the powerful connection he shares with the princess. It does say A Witch and Her Dragon is the first in a quartet of standalones set against the magical backdrop of the Coven Crest Academy. If you like cozy books with tortured heroes and a dash of spice, this book is for you. Appropriate for readers 18 plus. Here's a funny thing. It reads like YA, but the spicy scenes, I can see why it's 18 plus. So that was something that I, like I said, wasn't expecting. It is cozy in a lot of different ways. Because you have this girl going to a magical school, so magic school based, but we don't like break out into like houses or anything like that. She has her roommates, or I think she's got like 3 roommates, and Raylan has like a room below them so he can like run upstairs if something happens. But yeah, Yeah, it's probably too much for like if you're under 18. Well, it's definitely too much because I was blushing and I was like, okay. I don't read a ton of spicy books. Now, I do think this is one that I'm probably going to recommend my friend Hannah. Actually, both Hannahs. Is it something with people named Hannah who likes their spicy romance, like fantasy romance? Because questioning. If anybody on here is named Hannah, do you enjoy spicy romance or romantasy? I'm just curious. It's about 366 pages in the Kindle edition, but I think on my NetGalley e-reader it was closer to like 275. So I'm not sure where the other 100-ish pages went, but I will say it just about the author. It says, "Hi, I'm Emberly. I write spicy romance and love getting lost in my own fictional worlds." See, now I enjoy writing fictional worlds and kind of weaving like a little bit of like modern day with myth and lore. But man, I think I would be like blushing so hard to write like spicy scenes. I don't know, like I haven't ever tried, but I feel like I would. I feel like I would because I'm blushing so hard when I was reading those scenes. It's like, oh my goodness. Now we do have a couple of tropes that are probably pretty obvious when it comes to just kind of talking about this book a little bit. We have like the bodyguard and his charge. You have the close proximity sort of thing. You have the fated mates. You don't have the shared or the one bed situation because he does have his own bedroom. The whole like I guess, he like I guess you could say outclassed. Like, there are two different classes, two different stages in life, I guess, because he's a knight and she's the princess. She is the daughter or the granddaughter of the king. You do have some found family with the friends at the school, which is great, and I do love that so much for like Alina. I think she needs that. People who see her not as just the princess, but as Alina herself. And so that's one of the other reasons that she wants to go to this school is Alina is determined to be more than just her name, which I love. That was actually a part that I really appreciated. We see Alina doing this thing, not trying to detach from her grandfather, but more or less be an independent person and not rely on that connection. So even though she applies to this Coven Crest Academy, she does it actually without her grandfather's consent or knowledge. Now, I assume that Coven Crest Academy was like, oh, this is Princess Alina. Let's talk to the king, because the king knows about it when she goes to tell him that she got accepted. He's already aware. So, but she's still determined to kind of be her own person, which is why she's so frustrated and upset that her grandfather has sent a bodyguard with her. Now, I do think it was probably not clear-sightedness on his part that he sent someone pretty much of her age, and he apparently is strong and handsome and brooding and all that sort of like romantasy idealization of like dark broody guys. I love a dark broody guy. Like, yeah, thank you. Like, please hand me ones that are all emotionally unavailable. Like, apparently that's my type. So, yes, you do kind of have this crush for Raylan because, like, he's super caring and loving to his family, his mom and sisters, brings them chocolate strawberry croissants. But literally, like, I think it's page 7. I know it's chapter 2. You get the whole she's his fated mate thing, and he knows it. He's known it from the beginning. Like 3 years previously, I don't know if she turned like 15 or if there was just a point in puberty that was just like light switch and it was like boom. Oops, my fated mate is the princess. So, I mean, I guess that's kind of expected with this sort of book, but that's what we get. So he goes around brooding and stomping and just like literally living under an Eeyore cloud 99% of the time, until she kind of starts to see him in a different light as well. When they were at the castle, she barely even noticed him. There were tons of other knights and guards and people like that, so she really didn't even know their names. So she didn't know really who Raylan was until her grandfather sends him with her. Again, hindsight on his part that he sent someone of her age who's dark, brooding, and charming to go to school with her and attend her classes and to live right next door to her, because again, this forced proximity is just not helping situations. He does wear kind of like an amulet type chain that's supposed to help keep his dragon in check. I guess it's part of the bargain barter system that he has with the grandfather. The grandfather does know that Raylan is a dragon, which of course probably makes him much more of a lucrative knight, having someone who can turn into a dragon. Well, Alina doesn't know that until I think it's chapter 7, but I also don't feel like that's a spoiler because it's the first third of the book. It's 35% of the way into the book. It's boom, that's when we get this whole dragon moment. Now what do we do? Because they've definitely started going, hey, you, me, yeah, but we can't, no. So you get that whole scenario happening as well. I think Alina and Raylan are pretty well rounded out. They don't feel super flat. They are at least a little multidimensional when it comes to various things. I just feel like it's a 90%, 10% when it comes to romance being the 90 and 10% being almost anything else that's happening. I mean, maybe that's what this is. It's just, let's put it romance / fantasy. I guess that's where the romantasy comes from, is romance comes first. But you have the forbidden romance going on, and it's probably supposed to be really endearing. And I just was not this again. I like when characters act with a bit more maturity when it comes to relationships. This felt teenagers, 18, 19 years old, going to college for the first time, leaving home for the first time, and now, look at all these people around us. Crazy, right? It was definitely entertaining and engaging. It did make me flip a couple chapters or a couple pages just a little bit quicker because I don't like to read the smut as much. There was one point where she said his name, and then a certain part of him below the belt twitched. And I was like, oh, so this is the kind of book we're talking about. And I was like, all right. And I think when that happened, I was like, oh, okay. It's clear that I probably, I should recommend this to some of my friends who love this genre. Fairly low stakes, fairly well paced. Honestly, I really don't have just a ton of complaints. Again, it's probably not my cup of tea that I gravitate towards in my free time whenever I just want a random book to read. However, I am glad that I requested it because I love the magical, fantastical elements. I like the magical school. I like our main characters, even if they're pining and brooding over each other, again, 90% of the time. So, but with all of that being said, oh wait, I forgot about the spirit companions. So the ones who are at the school, the witches or the warlocks, if we call them witches and warlocks, wizards. Anyway, they have spirit companions, and Alina has Yuki. I think it's Yuki. So a snow fox, Arctic fox. And I was like, yes, I would love to have one of my puppies be like my spirit companion. That would be so cute. I want to know how to have one of those. I'll take a Raylan as well. Like, who wouldn't? I mean, I'll put my hand up with the audience, I'm sure. But I think I'm going to go ahead and leave it there. I'm not going to dive too much more into it. Again, it's fairly low stakes, so there's not just a ton to really spoil. I'm certain if you really think about it, a princess and her knight and what could go wrong. Well, you know, we could have a couple things go wrong, let's just say. We could have people finding out if, like, they're kissing. We'll just leave it there, if they're kissing. Or we could have someone who's maybe trying to kidnap Alina. Who knows what's going on? But it's cute. It's cute. Will I read the whole quartet? I'm not sure. I am kind of on the fence. Again, because it's not my specific genre. I think Kimberly Lemming was one of the few people who wrote pretty spicy fantasy romance that were addictive. Like, they were very spicy, like 3 or 4 jalapenos spicy. But the story, the humor, the characters, the dynamics, I couldn't get enough of them. So, if you ever get to read any of those, it's like that time I got drunk and yeeted a love potion at a werewolf or something like that. Something like that. Anyway, I think that's one of them. But Kimberly Lemming is great as well. But with all of that being said, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you have not liked and subscribed already, I hope you will. Thank you for joining me on this journey. I'll see you all on the next page.